What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always every day, Monday through Friday, never missing a single weekday of shows. Coach Josh and John Luke. What's up, guys?
What up?
We're here. We only take off for holidays. Yesterday was basically a holiday. We were traveling.
Big holiday.
What? Yeah, it's our kind of holiday. Fantasy Football Expo afterwards day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think the official name was Delayed Flight Day, I think is what the name of yesterday's holiday was, if I'm not
Let's
mistaken.
blame it on that then.
Almost everyone was celebrating, as far as I can see from
everyone.
Twitter. But guys, today we have a great friend coming on the show with us today. We've got Thad Houston here with us, ready to do some mock drafting. For those of you that do not know Thad, you can find him on Twitter at RadThad1.
So rad.
Make sure I'm getting the Rad_Thad1. There's an underscore in between Rad and Thad, but he is so rad, and we're hyped to have you on here today with us, Thad. Thank you for joining us, man.
Gentlemen, as you already know, I love being here. This is going to be fun. At the end of the show, I will be known as the Sniper.
The Sniper.
Yeah, Thad came in, and one of the first things he said to us, he goes, I clicked on that sleeper link. I saw JL was at 12. I saw you were at 9. He's like, and I knew where I had to pick from. He grabbed that 11 spot. So right in between JL and I, we got a bomb waiting there to snipe our picks from us.
It's going to be a
Rad Thad.
It's going to be a snipe party.
I've seen these guys mock draft once or twice. Let's just put it that way.
Once or twice.
Maybe I'll hit you with some knowledge once. We'll see how it goes.
We got Craig in the chat saying work meetings today. I won't be here, but seeing as I stared at the FYF YouTube homepage yesterday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. and none of y'all were here on a Monday, we can call it even.
I'm glad you stayed. I'm glad you watched it.
Quite the dedication.
Just in case something came up. Scott in here said, I'm having a really fun time at the day job today. I bet after the expo. Welcome in, Scott. It was great seeing you this weekend.
Day job.
And he said,
Scott,
I liked before the show.
It really was awesome hanging with you this week. Yeah, you were
so great.
You're the man, Scott.
It was really great hanging with this guy.
Carlos in here saying, so based on this thumbnail, I'm forced to assume that Josh doesn't like Stafford in Superflex redraft drafts. He's going to be my first round pick.
No, I mean,
Josh says no.
So in Superflex dynasty leagues, quarterbacks are going in the first round, but it's usually young quarterbacks because it's an investment for 15 years. The quarterback position's so deep that I would not spend a first round pick on Stafford. Now, a second round pick, maybe a late second round pick, third pick is a good value, but first round pick's too high, especially with the concerns with his elbow or shoulder. I don't know. I don't think we know exactly what's going on, but it's affecting his throwing shoulder. They say it's a baseball injury.
It does. That's what they were saying, right? I'll talk a little bit about like how I'm handling quarterbacks this year and kind of like my shift and how I feel about them over the past couple weeks, especially in Superflex drafts. But we'll get into that whenever we get in the draft. I've had a shift on how I think I need to draft quarterbacks and redraft this year because it's been interesting. I've had the same feeling over and over again in my drafts. We got Twin in here saying, Simon, found myself at the 8th spot. Oh, man, just found yourself.
Found it, just randomly got put there.
Twin's ready to snipe me. Maria said, pretty sure we lost Jeff. Maybe we can use these thumbnails for the missing posters. No, we found him. He's right there. See?
He's right
up there in the top right corner. Albert, what's up?
Yeah, I was just making sure you're talking about this Jeff because
absolutely.
Out there,
What's up, Albert? Good afternoon. Glad to have you here. And we got Dustin in the chat. What's up, Dustin? Mr. Scamper saying hi, our favorite chat
what
cat.
Up,
and Jay said hi, diddly ho, neighborinos.
Who's that guy?
Jay. Fun fact.
I want to hear.
He's my brother from another mother.
Wow. I did not know that.
That is a
fun fact.
That's very fun.
He's the brother that says hi, diddly ho, neighborinos, and you're the brother who doesn't. You're the one who does not say that out loud ever.
Yeah.
That for some reason, out of all the things I've said on this stream, that comment was one of the things that made me most uncomfortable. Something about that just felt weird.
And you have said a lot of things on this stream.
Yeah. Chevin, what's up? He said the boys welcome in. Glad to have you here. And Carlos saying, let's ride. Let's ride.
Carlos, let's go.
I'm along.
Let's ride.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite things to say to people. Let's ride.
Man, Scott, speaking of Scott, he had the sickest Russell Wilson Let's Ride shirt. It was the perfect level of clip arty on the front. It was incredible. Great shirt, Scott. That was like top tier shirts from the Expo this weekend. Guys, today we brought Thad on here to do a mock draft with us. Before we get into that, though, a couple reminders. First, And most importantly, if you're not already following our guest Thad over on Twitter, go and give him a follow at rad_Thad1. That is one of our favorite people in this space. And you will not regret going over there and following him. After you do that, come on back over here. You're on this YouTube channel already. Go ahead and hit that like button if you like what we're doing over here. Hit that like button if you hate what we're doing over here, because, man, we'll feel it. We'll know that was your intention if you do it. So the message will come through loud and clear. Yeah. And then make sure you're subscribed to our channel at Front Yard Fantasy. We're here every day at 3 p.m. Eastern time, playing games, doing mock drafts. You don't want to miss out on any of that. Guys, I think it's time to get into this draft.
Mock Draft Tuesday.
We're doing a Superflex Redraft Mock Draft. The rosters are going to be 1 quarterback position, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a flex, a super flex. Oh, and I forgot the tight end. We can't forget about that tight end in there. 1 tight end. And then we're doing a truncated bench for the sake of time on the stream. You're going to have 3 bench spots, but that's the format. Superflex.
It's a redraft league. It's not that crazy. I mean, maybe 3 more bench positions in a normal one, but not that crazy, right?
Yeah. We're at 3. 5 to 7 is probably the normal. So this is just a real short bench, but nothing too crazy. I mentioned it already. I'm drafting from the 9, Thad from the 11, and JL from the 12. Josh is going to be commentating, asking us some questions about the show today. I think we're ready to get in there. You guys ready to start?
I will be comment. Yeah. Let's start it. As you can tell, I lost my voice a little bit. It was a lot worse yesterday. It's getting better. So I'm going to be having my sexy voice on today for everyone. So get ready for some
it's always sexy
nightly Josh vibes. Let's go.
I
wish I had it ready. Thad mentioned it. I should dim the lights, and I wish I just had it ready to dim the lights for it when I said that. That would have been
smooth jazz 105.9.
I also see we got Skylar in here saying just opened my 3rd Truly.
What's up, Skylar?
Tyler, hair of the dog trying to recover.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I'd say, and he's not back to Vegas.
3 in the afternoon.
It's he's just trying to survive Cleveland until he can get back home. Is what's going on right there. We got 1 pick in already. Josh Allen. I think that's
a big surprise.
The first one off the board. And hey, listen, in a redraft league, he would be my first pick. But if you wanted to go some other direction, if you wanted to go with Jonathan Taylor, if you wanted to go with
Mike Williams,
CMC. Not Mike Williams. If you wanted to go with Cooper Kupp, I'd be fine with it. There's even 2 other quarterbacks that I'd be okay with, but Josh Allen, he's the safe pick. Does anyone disagree with that? How do you feel about Josh Allen? Number 1 for you?
Yeah, he's my number 1. I'm not sure if Simon and I agree. I'm waiting to hear what his strategy or
his shift, his QB shift, as he said.
Yeah. He left us hanging on that a little bit. I'm interested too.
Yeah. I think he's waiting until he makes it. He doesn't want to say it until he
I
makes
can
it.
say it. I'll say it. I got no problem sharing it. What it really is every single one of these drafts, Superflex or 1 QB, it seems like the value is there. And it's like, oh, look at the value on this quarterback. I'm going to take him here. And then we get 3-4 rounds later, and I look at the quarterbacks on the board, and I'm like, man, I would be so much happier with my team if I passed on Jalen Hurts in the 2nd and I grabbed Aaron Rodgers in the 4th instead. Know what I mean? Or I grabbed a Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr in the 5th or 6th. Like, I really think you get so invested in getting those quarterbacks early to shore up that position that, and you get tricked because there will be value. You see a quarterback fall 5 picks, and then you're like, oh, I have to take Dak Prescott here. Oh, I have to take Jalen Hurts here. But you don't. You can get that positional advantage and still get a QB1 2-3 rounds later. Maybe just not that sexy name, not that Jalen Hurts, not that Dak Prescott. But I'm good with a Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr. So I might grab 1 quarterback early here, but I'm going to try waiting a little bit. I'll say that already here. I'm going to see what that team looks like. I've been messing around with it a little bit more recently.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not in love with grabbing quarterbacks, right off the bat. I mean, there's just such they're so clumped together that there's not really a statistically significant difference once you leave the first 2 guys. So I just focus on running back this season, running backs. Well, every season, but especially this season, top running back that isn't part of a committee or something like that. These guys are scarce. So unless you want to end up, rostering a bunch of guys from the same team, which I sometimes have to do in order to get a decent set of running backs, I'll wait on QB.
Yeah, I'm with you. I see Mr. Scambers in here saying, hope Herbert makes it back to me. Yeah, that's likely with the 12th pick in the 2nd round. I bet Herbert makes it all the way back.
Oh, I'm sure I was like, wait, what's going on? I was looking for Mr. I didn't even look at the 101 spot.
Very first
pick.
Is
he even in here? But yeah, he might not make it back to you. He might not make it back to you. Jay, how do you feel about this?
How do I feel about this draft so far?
Quarterbacks in redraft league. Do you have a strategy you prefer?
Yeah, well, I mean,
kind of like what Simon said.
Kind of agree with Simon. Yeah, 1 QB, I'm waiting. Superflex, I'm fine. I'm either getting. I'm trying to get. I almost go like a hero QB strategy in Superflex. I try and get at least one star guy in the first 2 rounds, and then I'll try and fill that in with the QB2 a little bit later in the draft. Usually those middle rounds, there's some good value, but it also depends on the board, on the rest of the league. If they're drafting QB heavy, it shifts my strategy a bit, or if they're drafting QB light, it shifts my strategy a bit.
I'm with you, Jail. And I mean, you're not saying anything like that's necessarily different than Simon or what I was saying at all. You were saying, you know, you like to stand out with a quarterback early, and I like to do that too. I like to get one really good one in a redraft Superflex league, especially. And then I'm willing to take shots on guys that are going to go in like the 10th round of this draft. Guys like Carson Wentz or even Marcus Mariota, you know, or maybe even a young guy. Yeah, Matt Ryan, exactly. So maybe have 3 quarterbacks at that point. 1 you're extremely comfortable with, and then 2 that you're not so sure about, but one of them's probably going to hit, and you're going to be just fine.
Yeah,
so
I'm with
you are on the clock, just so you know. You got 20 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
Oh, sweet. Just want to make sure.
He's just like,
I wanted you to snipe JL.
Hold on, let me see. Actually, this is a tough pick. Oh, no, this is a tough pick.
Let's see what I got here. I'm going to go with.
Oh, it's me next. This said Chev with the snipe.
Oh,
there we go.
Is that who you wanted?
Yeah.
Let's see. Put you on auto draft. It looks like.
Oh, did it? Oh, good. Well, it worked. It worked out fine.
If you got your phone out, you can turn off auto draft. Oh, there we go. We're off. Now let's get this draft going.
And we're back.
Sweet. We're back. I was sitting there at my pick, and there were 5 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. I assumed I was going to get one of the running backs or wide receivers that fell through to that point, but Kyler Murray was there. So I took Kyler Murray. Both the running backs and quarterbacks that I was looking at left. So I'll grab that one quarterback, kind of like you were talking about. Hero QB for lack of a better
one other thing that I at least from my experience with 2 quarterback leagues or flex, super flex, just remember at some point in the season, finding a starting quarterback, a viable starting quarterback, and by viable, I mean someone who is actually starting, is going to be an issue. Between guys getting injured and guys getting picked up off of waivers, there have been some super flex leagues that I've been in where I'm stuck, and you don't have 2 viable quarterbacks to start if you want to do that. So just be aware if there's any viable starting quarterback on the bench after the draft is over. Keep an eye on those guys because they will disappear, even the worst guys.
Yeah, don't feel like you're better than a Davis Mills or a Matt Ryan or a Baker Mayfield because they're going to have value during the season. You're right. Like it doesn't matter how bottom tier of a starter they are. Drew Lock will start for someone's super flex team during the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you, Thad. That's a great point to bring up. I had to start guys like Trevor Siemian and the such last year in some super flex leagues. Mike White.
Hey, that worked for like 2 weeks.
Well, I messed up because I started Mike White after he blew up. I started Trevor Siemian in all the wrong weeks as well. I never got it right. Oh, you stinker, Thad.
Oh, yeah. One in the books. I like Travis Kelce there. I like Travis Kelce there. I think that's right around the time he belongs to go off the board.
That's just.
I tricked Simon into giving me his quarterback, strategy, and then I said, So if you're waiting on the quarterback,
where would you go?
I was 100% going Travis Kelce right there. Like the pick was made, and I was ready to. Now I'm panicking.
Well, I don't know how K-Bosh89 feels about Travis Kelce, but it looks like he was interested in taking a quarterback there. I mean, a tight end there. Went with Mark Andrews. Maybe Mark Andrews is the number 1 tight end for K-Bosh. I am not sure. I know out there's a lot of people that have Mark Andrews ranked above Travis Kelce. Thad, let me ask you. It's not a question for you. I mean, for me, they're in the same tier, but I would definitely rather have Travis Kelce.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to some degree, you're splitting hairs, especially – but maybe a little less so now that Hollywood Brown is no longer with Baltimore. And the reason why I was saying that is because certain guys, every year, there are at least 1 or 2 guys that are kind of like fantasy cheat code guys. Basically guys that are listed at a viable at a volatile position that somehow perform otherwise. And I'll use a recent example that is pretty extreme. Okay, so like maybe 2 years ago, we had what's his name from New Orleans? Taysom Hill, who was listed at tight end and was starting at quarterback. You know,
I think I could do you one better from last season, Cordero Patterson.
Same thing.
But okay, yeah.
Same thing. Or even like a Deebo Samuel, even though he's still a wide receiver, he gets the running back. So those guys are kind of like cheat codes. They allow you to gain access to more reliable stats, less volatile stats at a volatile position. So when I see those guys, I like to try to jump on them. And, you know, usually that's Kelsey. One year it was Alvin Kamara, who was like a combination wide receiver 1, RB1.
Yeah.
So those are the guys I like. But as far as Andrews goes, the guy's a stud. You know, all he does is catch touchdown. Don't care. So love him. He's awesome. So he's right there with Travis Kelce.
So essentially what you're saying is you love finding guys like Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce, for instance. They're not really tight ends. Like they're wide receivers. They're big old wide receivers playing in high-powered offense that are going to get them most targets for their teams. So
exactly.
That's what you're saying, right?
That's exactly right. They're not on the sheet. It says tight end, but they're not. They're not tight ends.
So you get to put them in that tight end position, and they're a positional advantage throughout the year. No, I completely agree. I love that.
See, Mr. Scamper's in here asking, is this full PPR? It is full PPR. So this will be full PPR as well.
Good question.
And I saw we had a question from Albert in here.
Albert,
pick 2 keepers, JT in the 2nd, Diggs in the 4th, Pitts in the 5th, Javonte in the 9th.
Oh, shoot.
I am not even a Javonte guy, Albert, and this piques
Javonte
my
in the
interest.
9th.
That is it's definitely JT in the 2nd for me, I feel like, especially if this is non-super flex.
Yeah, I think
you got to do that. And then the next 3 are tough for me, but just value-wise, I think I'm going Javonte in the 9th. And I've been very out on Javonte at ADP this year just because he's going to be splitting with Melvin Gordon. But in the 9th round, you're not beating that value, I feel like.
Even and the upside is still there for Javonte. Even if we're out, even if we think Melvin Gordon's going to split the work, that doesn't always play out like that. If Javonte's killing it, if he's obviously better than Melvin Gordon, he's going to get more carries than Melvin Gordon, a decent amount in a very good offense. We'll project to be a very good offense with a great quarterback. So there's still a lot of upside, even if we don't believe he's going to get all the carries. The upside's built in, so it's definitely Javonte.
Do you agree? I'm sorry.
I agree. I agree. I really like him a ton this year. So, you know, being in that position is pretty enviable. For me, it's a no-brainer. But so I'm going JT in the 2nd, Javonte in the 9th.
Yeah. What was that, Jay?
I'm curious what you guys think, because I was helping someone else with some keeper question, and so JT to me is not necessarily a big value, right? Like you're going to get him 1st overall or 2nd overall in most leagues, and so you're getting about a round discount from 2nd to 1st. You could make an argument that maybe, I guess Diggs and Pitts are closer to probably their ADB too. But I'm curious, how do you guys think about this? Like when going keepers, the value versus just pure, return on investment, essentially, for a guy like JT.
The very first thing I wanted to push back on is I feel like the drop from the 1st to 2nd round is a much bigger drop or value than the drop from, say,
they're
the
not
6th
linear.
to the
like think of
Alex's
Alex's peaked in high school's trade charts, right? Like they're top tier values, right? So you're dropping from like maybe 75 points in his trade charts down to 40 points, right? Or something.
Right.
So that you're that 30-point value. So,
oh shoot.
So how do you guys think? How do you guys, when you're deciding on keepers, how do you think about the value versus value that you're getting, the discount you're getting versus just the pure value that the player provides?
That is honestly for me maybe the most important thing. I mean, obviously, if it was like Cordero Patterson from last year, the value you're getting on him because he was undrafted, right? Maybe you don't even have to pay a draft pick, so the value's awesome. But like, I don't project him to have an amazing season. So I'm just trying to use that as an example. I'm sure there's a better example you could use out there, but the value plays a huge part. But also, it's like, how good is that player? How much do you want them on your team? Are you sure you're going to start them, right?
Right. Yeah. And I imagine like when I think about when I play in keeper leagues, I'm thinking about what are my league mates going to do? A lot of my keeper decisions are dependent upon what I am predicting my league mates are going to do with their own keepers.
We'll keep this in mind as well. Wide receiver is a deeper position. So Stephon Diggs there is a great value, maybe a better value. You can make an argument, a better value than maybe JT, maybe. But wide receiver is so deep. And I'm just not going to get running back. I feel like it's going to dry up because I think people are going to keep running backs.
And I think you brought something up that was a great point, Jail. Value is not even maybe the most important decision to me whenever I'm deciding on keepers, or the most important factor. It's a factor that contributes and can be a tiebreaker, right? I want the players that are most likely to help me win next season. And then if it's close between them, I'll take the value of one of them. That way it opens up that draft pick for me in the draft, right? The Javonte Williams, the value was significantly better than the Stephon Diggs and Kyle Pitts value, I feel like, based on draft position. So much so that it outweighed maybe that I think those guys are better for fantasy because now I still have my 4th round pick and my 5th round pick.
No, it makes a ton of sense.
Because again, and then it goes back to the linear thing. Giving up your 4th round pick is a much bigger thing to give up than giving up your 9th round pick.
Yeah.
But
it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge. Something interesting. I just made my 2 picks, Tom Brady and AJ Brown here on the turn. I did not expect the quarterbacks to be here that are here. And I think this goes into my point earlier, which is look at I'm the only team we're now going in the first 2 picks of the first 4th round that's taken a second quarterback. And so you can see what I'm talking about where the draft board matters, right? This isn't typical, I would say, that you normally see in a redraft. A Superflex redraft draft.
Well, JL, I was hoping you would make my decision here easier by drafting one of these 2 guys, and then I could just grab the other. I wasn't worried about.
I know the 2 you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, and
I'm
one of them
looking at your team, and
one of them my rankings say to take, and one of them my heart says to take. You know what? Rule number 5, Kyle Pitts, welcome to the squad.
Yeah,
Thad, what you were saying earlier when we were talking about players that can break the mold. Kyle Pitts is another one that he's a tight end.
Yep.
He is
he's going to line up as a wide receiver out there on the field quite a bit, especially with the receiving core that Atlanta has. They're going to rely on him heavily, and he's not going to be used like your typical tight end. This is probably my first shade. I don't draft a lot of Kyle Pitts.
Because he's never there in the 4th.
He's never there in the 4th. But here we go. I got him this time. This is a round where I'm happy to take.
Yeah, that's a great pick. And also, one thing about Pitts is you kind of have to project in the future if you're thinking about keeper leagues, especially at a position like tight end. He is a guy where his projection is going up right now. Okay, as opposed to, and I got the guy on my team, Travis Kelce. I'm. If you told me that he's already reached his ceiling and he's kind of going to be on the decline from now on, I couldn't argue that. And even to some degree, Andrews. But in a few years or in a year or 2 or whatever, Pitts is going to be the dude. And there's not a lot of people going to be behind him. So I think that's a great pick, especially if you're doing a keeper.
Yeah, absolutely. That age comes into play a little bit, or less of the age and the trajectory that you mentioned comes into play. What direction are they going? It doesn't have to be tied to age. It can be tied to a multitude of factors. Here, age is definitely one of the factors, though.
Correct.
Man, K-Bosh getting Russell Wilson as the first QB in a Superflex redraft in the 4th round is absurd value.
That's what I'm saying. You can chill. No, this is going weird. This draft. This is the lightest QB Superflex redraft draft I've been in probably this whole off season.
Well, think about what we led into it talking. I mean, all of us pretty much said hey, you can do this, right? You can wait and
look at how my strategy changed. I said that I usually get one and then I'll follow up with a support QB. And look, I took a QB right after I took my first QB.
Lock yourself into a strategy, right, Jail?
Yep,
right?
Exactly.
You took the value
exactly
and
right.
I like it.
I like it too. I'm liking the way it seems to
love
together.
But also one thing that when you're preparing for certain scenarios that are fluid, try to have not in addition to having a fluid action, you got to have a fluid backup plan. So for K-Bosh, his team is dope. He got Russell Wilson in his last pick. Running back, going to be a problem. So, you kind of have to figure, which is also very solvable. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm going to try to in front of me. He's going to take my stuff. Very solvable, but at least you have to have a plan. And every issue that you come across in daily or season long, whether it's bench or whatever problem you got, there's a solution. You just got to think about it and figure it out.
And recalibrate when you get new information.
Yeah.
I think that's a super important part of that. Yep.
My favorite position to have a problem at, though, is the running back position, because I feel like it's the most fluid.
What?
It's the most fluid throughout the season. It's the position with the most injuries.
You're
It's
right.
the position with the most change at who's jumping in. And it's it's one of the few positions where I feel like you identify that problem early. It's relatively solvable off the waiver wire throughout the season if you're on it. You got to be on it, but it is an easier problem for me to solve. Whenever like one of my star wide receivers goes down, I didn't go wide receiver heavy. I feel like I struggle with that more. I'm plugging in a different guy every single week, like just trying to find someone who hits, like who's got the good matchup, who could boom for me. And I enjoy solving it at the running back position more than that wide receiver position. Also, tight end, just shoot me in the stomach.
It's everybody's got the same problem. It's a problem for everybody. The issue that's gonna screw you is if you have a problem at a position that's kind of not anybody else's problem. If you have a quarterback problem at some point in the season, good luck, because there's some people on your team, on your leagues, that got 2 kick-ass dudes, and most other people have at least one guy that's pretty good. So if you're struggling with at quarterback, you better figure it out.
And there'll be one jackass that has 4 of them. There'll be one guy who's got 4.
That'll be me, and I'm not trading any of them.
Oh man, what do you do, Mr. Scampers? Mr. Scampers said quitting. I violated rule number 5. How'd you violate it? I swear, Mr. Scampers, I was just looking at your team and I was like,
"Which rule number 5?
I like this team a lot.
Follow your
heart. Sorry about that.
Screw your heart.
Listen to your
championship.
That's true.
No, like Mr. Scampers' team, guys, right? I think it's really good. Getting Derek Carr there in the end of the 4th, pretty much the 5th round, and Michael Pittman as his wide receiver 1. I'm
solid. Barkley and Swift, that's solid.
I feel like we're going to be playing some QB chicken right here is what it feels like. And I'm trying, every time it comes up, I'm like, ooh, do I do it? I bet I can make it one more round. I did that in one draft, and it did not pay off. We were left with Daniel Jones as the QB2.
Oh, wow.
I'm just realizing Kirk Cousins went in the 2nd round. I was looking around for him. I was like,
wow, that is early. That's way too early.
But hey, there's reports Adam Thielen's looking like his old self. Justin Jefferson is saying that this offense, he understands why Cooper Kupp was open all the time, because he's playing the Cooper Kupp role and he's open all the time now in practice. So there is a lot of hype with this camp. And to be honest, Kirk Cousins is always right there around quarterback 10. He's always in there. In real life NFL, he's doesn't necessarily show up for the big games, but for fantasy, he's pretty much as consistent as it comes.
Justin has a great point here. Look at his 1st round pick, Justin Jefferson.
Oh,
he very well could have just wanted to secure that stack, make sure he had it going into the season. And Carlos said, I went with my heart on Cousins.
You like that? You like that?
Rule number 5.
I like it. You know what, mine? I love it. I will say this. I bet you he was there in round 3. That's awesome. But you don't know that. You're sitting there and we've seen like we've talked about a lot here. Quarterbacks fly off the board in Superflex leagues. These runs happen. You're sitting there at this with the 7th pick. You got 10 picks before your next one. It could have been a big quarterback run, and you could have missed out on Cousins.
Right.
I will agree. If you're playing quarterback chicken, though, I think the point where you want to start looking at that 3rd quarterback is after every team has 2. You know what I mean? Because there are enough starting quarterbacks for all teams to have 2, and then there's still 5, 6, 7 for you to choose from that are fine in that tier. The Jared Goff, the Davis Mills, the Matt Ryans, the Baker Mayfields are going to be down there. But there will be a point where someone grabs that 3rd quarterback, the first team to grab a 3rd quarterback, and then they're going to fly. Because, Thad, what you were talking about earlier, there's a scarcity with quarterbacks. And once someone takes that 3rd one, and you're looking at bye weeks, you're looking at injuries, all the other teams start getting nervous. They start flying off the board, and you don't want to be left holding the Daniel Jones bag at the end of that run.
Agreed.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Oh, there's Matt Ryan.
Yep.
There's Matt Ryan. With the double tight end, the double QB.
Tight end,
And the reason why I did that is with the whole fluidity thing, because I was really in need. I'm really in need of a wide receiver. And again, I'm thinking maybe I can go to a guy that is listed at tight end and maybe be a wide receiver. It's almost like drafting a wide receiver. So I went with Waller again. and I'll just kind of fill in the holes, through the rest with wide receiver.
So JL, you said what's up?
I just connected Pillsbury Cush's Carlos. Okay.
Yes.
He's the one that picked Kirk Cousins. All right. Sorry. Just connected all those dots.
No, it took me like once I saw him, send that message. I didn't understand. I didn't realize
you cracked me up in the Discord.
In the Discord.
I posted the mock draft link, and then like 10 seconds later, Carlos comes in. He goes, Pillsbury Cush reporting for service. Ready to go.
That's fantastic.
You got a giggle out of me.
Carlos
this morning,
is the man.
Carlos.
JL, you said one of those picks was easy.
Yeah.
I think I know which one was easy. I'm going to take a wild guess and say it was Mike Williams.
Mike Williams is the easy one. I'm kind of regretting my choice on the second one. I'm not going to say who I wanted instead, but I felt pressure to go running back because it's going to start getting ugly. I only have one running back, and I almost always hate when I make decisions from this spot where I'm like, oh, I got to take, it's almost like scarcity, right? Like I'm worried that the running back's going to run out or I'm going to be weak there. And I'm worried about taking another wide receiver. I should have just gone with my heart. Rule number 5.
JL,
so were you considering another running back?
No.
Sorry. Okay, gotcha.
If Josh Jacobs was there, that was going to be my pick, Jay.
I know.
So I was going to go Josh Jacobs. You sniped me with that.
People are worried about him, but I think it's gone a little bit too far, if anything.
I agree.
I'm not saying this is like outrageous where you drafted him. I think it's a decent value, and I think he belongs in a tier with a lot of these running backs in front of him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think right where I drafted him is probably where he belongs.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see less from Josh Jacobs this year than we saw last year. I think his usage is going to be less, but I'm not expecting like a fall off the cliff type of year.
It could be a better offense.
It could be a better offense.
A lot of people think it will be.
McDaniels is historically used the committee, so that's the one big reason I'm concerned.
But we can name a ton of running backs that were great in that committee in New England.
That's true. That's true.
Inconsistent, which we don't like in fantasy, which I guess why people are worried about him. But
it's different from last year.
The most talented running back there.
I agree.
I fully agree with that. Yeah.
I'm not convinced we see like a dip in his receiving work. Know what I mean? Like I think that's one area where we could see maybe even a tick up in his receiving work. We got a new coaching stuff in there. When he came into the league, people were excited about him as a full package back. And he's had years where his receptions have gone up, know what I mean, based on injuries, last year being one of them, right?
Yeah, last year.
I think we see at least a continuation of that this year because he's got the skills. I think he might be the best pass catching back on that offense. And I love Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
But Josh Jacobs is a good pass catching back, not just someone who can do it.
I'll tell you what, my FanDuel Sunday mock draft stream really needs Kenyon Drake.
That was so funny, man. That was so funny. I want to do another one.
We did a draft on Sunday where we each got assigned an age range and we could only draft players from that age range. And JL had the 28 plus squad, so he was drafting only people 28 and older. And running back got rough for him, really rough.
Yeah, that's tough.
You don't get Derrick Henry.
He didn't get Derrick
purposefully
Henry.
took Derrick Henry in the first round before I even got to pick. So
trying to resurrect Frank Gore.
Exactly.
Melvin Gordon was your running back one, I think.
I think that's right. I think that is right.
The rest of the was good, though.
Yeah, it was. It's fine, I guess, as a 29-year-old. Come here and ask the JL's listening to Spotify on Discord. That's true. I listen to music every time I stream.
I've tried. He really does. I can't do it. I've tried and I just get so distracted. I cannot do it. Everyone else is JL is older than Simon. I mean,
also true.
That is
I'm older than
true.
all three of them
by 2 months, and Josh is older than both of us.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And then
Josh.
come here now. FYF Josh, you watch I Show Speed, Sui. And I just looked it up here. I have not, but apparently I have his energy. He looks like a cool dude. I'll take that all day. Thank you.
maybe watch 2 of his videos where he says words before you accept a compliment about a random person on the internet.
That's actually a really good point. I mean, he looked
who
like
knows
a cool
what
dude.
words he's gonna say.
He looked like a cool. I mean, yeah, maybe
he could be all in on CEH.
I'm gonna leave this tab up of I Show Speed. Sui.
Oh, Twin.
I'm gonna watch a couple videos after this. I'll let you know. Come here.
That was
Twin. That was a good pick, buddy.
When that was purposeful.
Oh,
at me.
It was literally crosshairs.
God, that was just hateful. Twin.
Twin's just been coming in for the heat lately. I'm here for it.
I'll take a guy who's been rising up, but man, I really
Nah.
would have loved to have Darnell Mooney there.
Simon, I was trying to cue that guy.
17. Oh no, I'll take it. I'm a young boy.
You look young, Josh.
Young
you were gonna
boy.
take Juju JL.
Yeah. Well, I was just
Too
filling him up.
bad.
I was very interested to see where Antonio Gibson got drafted.
Me too. Lots of stuff coming out.
A lot of negative things.
Yeah.
Stuff coming out today saying he's practicing with the punt team and the third string team. Antonio Gibson
seems absurd.
In the doghouse.
That's absurd to me. Like there's got to be something else to that. You know what I mean? Like it can't just be on the field.
Fumbles.
Like just
fumbles is he fumbled during preseason.
Fumbled in the
game.
preseason game. He had a huge fumble issue last year, and I think the team's like figure it out. And it's I think he's thinking about it too much. Probably he's like don't think of an elephant, guys. Don't think of an elephant. Don't do it.
I did.
What happens? You think of an elephant. Well, don't think about fumbling.
Don't
Fumble. Don't fumble. I fumbled.
Oh God, wide receivers got real ugly real quick. I don't know what happened. Usually I can get a Bateman around here. Nope, taken. Robinson taken.
There's guys that I think have fallen past their ADP here, but there are guys I know you're kind of out on this year, like guys that you don't love,
like
Gabe Davis.
Yep. I tried to come up with a name. I couldn't. Tyler Lockett. Amari
JL.
Cooper.
See, I've been out on CEH, but in the freaking 8th round, like that's phenomenal value. I
give me
love
that
pick,
CEH
JL.
there.
That's
He's another guy who's
when I'm
fallen
starting
a
to
little
look at
bit
him,
too far, I think.
All that
Like,
Pacheco height. Pacheco.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Isiah Pacheco, but I am worried about just Clyde Edwards-Helaire in general. I mean, I think everyone is. That's why he's going in the 8th round, right? But he's in a high-powered offense, has the draft capital. If they use him, if they just use him and he stays healthy, he's going to be a number 2 running back at the least, So
Yeah, I agree.
So Thad, your first 2 wide receivers you drafted here, I love the build you had going in, and now your wide receivers are going to be Allen Lazard and Devonta Smith. How does that make you feel?
Pretty good, because these are guys that I'm high on. These aren't guys that I'm just kind of like looking and saying, okay, what's left? These are guys that, for me, when I plan my draft, especially at wide receiver, it's a position where there's a lot of potential for upside for certain guys, and I'll like these guys, and they might not have the same amount of hype by the time I'm drafting. So I just put a little mark by them. So, if I can pull it off and get, a Waller and a Kelsey and a Burton, those guys, I'm fine taking these other guys. Granted, they're not, Cooper Kupp, but, they'll certainly do, especially Lazard,
Is he a breakout guy for you?
I think he's a breakout guy. I think you can't and old dogs don't learn new tricks. I think once Green Bay gets at the 1-yard line, they're going to throw the ball, and it'll probably be to him now. So, and Smith is an absolute beast. So I'm happy to use those wide receivers as my studs.
To your point, they did it last year too, even when they had Devontae Adams. What did Allen Lazard? He had like 8 touchdowns last season.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If he has 8 touchdowns again this season with the projected increase in targets that we expect, he's going to be pretty darn good. He's going to be pretty darn good.
Man. He's going
and that's
to be
a good thing for him if that's the case. If that's the case, he's going to.
Yeah. Especially if for some reason there was a quarterback change, I wouldn't be as excited. But Aaron Rodgers wants to throw a bazillion touchdowns forever. So there's not going to be a whole lot of handing off the ball. So if we know this, then just go with who his targets can be.
That I like to imagine that's like his good night prayer every night. And he's like, "And dear God, please let me throw a bazillion touchdowns."
A bazillion.
Amen.
A bazillion.
Dear Lord, sweet baby Lord Jesus.
It's working so far, so I tell him to keep it up.
Yeah, whatever he's doing is making it happen.
He's got to be up there in the touchdown. He's got to be top 10, right, in all-time touchdowns. I would assume. I'm not sure.
He's had a few years of just like
I'm gonna look it up.
Close to 40
I
plus
was
touchdowns.
about to as well.
Yeah, he throws so many touchdowns. It's just insane.
All the Devontae Adams.
He's number 5, Josh, with 449.
Right, cool.
He's
I
5
guess
on
that
that
all
list.
time.
Great. That's great.
Behind Brett
Tom
Favre.
Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, and then Aaron Rodgers is number 5.
He is going to be so happy when he passes Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is at 508,
he's
and
still
he is
got
at
quite a bit.
449. I'd say at least 2 more seasons. And that's too good. That's 2 good seasons as well,
Yeah.
probably.
How many passing touchdowns did Tom Brady have last year?
last year.
Oh, like 45 or something.
Yeah, it was something. I mean, like that's an awesome, ridiculous season. So like, yeah, he's not setting.
Aaron Rodgers had that the year before.
45.
Not that high, but
Just
close to it. I think
that.
it was around 40. Yeah, it was either career high or I don't know. I just remember he had a ton of
Rivers is number 6.
He threw 48
whole noodle
touchdowns
arm.
in 2020. JL.
How many?
Aaron Rodgers threw 48 touchdowns in
48.
2020.
Yeah.
That's
Damn. That's
And
higher than I thought.
do you know how many interceptions?
6,
7.
5.
Damn.
48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in 2020.
Josh,
that
you will
is
be playing the mini round
absurd.
game.
Yeah, let's go. Let's play.
No point because you went.
Hold on, where's
over
my mic? I got it here.
That's just
Get your cats
insane.
spayed and neutered. Your cats, just the cats.
Get your cats. Mr. Scampers is going to be like, what the hell?
Get them neutered. Let's go.
Get your cats spayed and neutered.
Just your cats.
Leave your dogs unmutilated.
That's hilarious.
Oh man. So Simon, you finally got your running back too with Cordell Patterson. Think he's having a good season, man?
For all intents and purposes, like for what we know, he's the starting running back for the Atlanta Falcons. And we saw last year he kind of teetered off towards the end, but I expect to have him involved in the passing game just like he was last year. He's another guy that lines up, like he'll line up in the slot sometimes. He'll line up as a wide receiver. And in the 8th round, I'll take a starting running back. It was going to be him or Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders went, or CEH. JL grabbed CEH in front of me though. So it was Patterson. I just feel like he's a value. I'm not like super high on him this year, but he falls in that range with those other guys I mentioned of starting running backs you can get in the 8th, 9th round.
Now, before we go on, let me just say something. Mr. Scampers, I know what you're doing. Don't think you're slick. I know what you're doing.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna wait until Mr. Scampers does it to explain and it's awesome.
But you're just putting him on notice.
When Mr. Scampers does what I know Mr. Scampers is going to do, I will applaud Mr. Scampers. I will explain what Mr. Scampers is up to, but you're not fooling me. I know what you're doing.
That figured Mr. Scampers out psychologically.
I'm so curious what
he's looking into his soul right now. He gets it. He understands what's going on.
He's a cat. He thinks differently, so I don't know.
I got to mention that, though, Mr. Scampers, I like your team a lot.
Yeah.
I love Mr. Scampers' team.
Very balanced.
You know how I'm starting to figure out Mr. Scampers? Number one, Mr. Scampers likes to draft from the heart, right?
Number 5.
And then look at the avatar. Is that a kitten?
That's a kitten.
Oh, he's a full-grown kitten. Favorite, best, the one and only chat cat.
That says a lot, man.
It does say a lot.
Let's say a
lot.
There's
a lot of cats. Oh, twin, you little butt.
Mr. Scamper said, "Can you give me a hint?"
No.
And then Jay said, "I will have 0 Patterson shares this year. The milk's gone sour."
What a disgusting metaphor.
It's weird comparing Cordell Patterson to milk because you
shouldn't be drinking that milk anyway.
When was the good point? When was it good life frame? Like I feel like it's good. I guess it's been processed, so it gets processed. And then you don't want to drink it until it's processed.
It's like that milk that's right on the expiration
9 years later.
And you smell it to see if it smells good. You're like,
yeah.
You're like, it's not. It smells a little bad, but maybe I could risk it.
Yeah,
maybe it's not that bad.
It won't kill me.
It also, I think it was good advice, Simon, to not just say assume it's a compliment with a YouTube person. Someone compares you to someone because I'm just reading the chat here. There's just some conversation going on. It's actually making me laugh. But
a lot of people are aware of this person.
Yeah, apparently. I still have it up. I'm gonna watch some videos. After he kind of looks familiar. I'll be honest.
Did you get sniped, JL?
It's just that you guys have taken all the wide receivers now.
Yeah, huge wide receiver run there, JL.
Everyone, there was like 3 or 4 of those guys. I was like, oh, I'll take him.
Oh, and another. That's not going to go easy on you either.
That's fine. I would have never drafted Lockett. You can have him.
The sniper.
15 wide receivers drafted in the last 2 rounds.
You are so good at counting, Josh. I was trying to count, and you beat me by a long shot.
I have a mouse. It's a little bit easier. I saw you with your finger there.
Yeah. Yeah, you know me and my finger.
Yeah.
Usually only comes out during fortune.
I was actually thinking that's pretty funny because it was easy to count it with the mouse, just like kind of scrolling over them. I don't know.
Maybe that needs to
And I
be a
also have
move
a
with
bigger
Fantasy
screen.
Fortune instead of the classic, just like one eye closed,
Yeah.
doing this number.
No, that's too classic though. You can't go away from that.
You're right. Who would I be without closing one eye and counting the squares on a Fantasy Fortune board? It's a defining personality trait at this point.
It is.
Now I'm not going to take Mr. Scamper's pick because I know who it is. So you're welcome.
Can I take it?
You're welcome. Okay, I'm just
You're welcome.
I guess I don't want to give it away what you're thinking, but like, there's only one thing that comes to mind when you're saying all this, Thad.
Yeah,
and
I already know what it is. Okay. I think you know.
Okay.
Just looking at the rest of it. I'm gonna
write down two things. One's a position and one's a player. And okay. If I get the position right, that's cool. If I get the player right, that's really cool. How about that?
I'm gonna write something down too. But picture Ham.
Oh yes.
Fine. I feel left out. I'm gonna write something down. Oh, it's my pick.
Down too.
I'm glad I started a movement.
Oh, you know what? It's too late.
It's been picked.
My K-Bosh put the kibosh.
Oh,
see what I did there?
That was pretty good.
Oh, you thought he was going to double up on the New England backfield?
Correct.
All right.
I did that thought cross my mind when you were talking.
Which is an excellent strategy when you're trying. Once that running back position gets scarce, which is basically immediately. One strategy that I try to at least do, which is you're not always successful with it, is if for example, if the next best running back is like in the first round or second round is like Nick Chubb, I immediately think, okay, I'm going to need to get Kareem Hunt, knowing that I'm going to have to spend up for him, even if it's a round or two. Same thing with like Ezekiel Elliott. I'm going to need Tony Pollard. Or Damian Harris, I'm going to need Stevenson. Now, granted, these guys, you can't use them both in the game at the same time, but
in a horrible situation,
you might right, exactly. It's not, you can't.
Don't want to.
You don't want to, but it's better. I'd rather have, Nick, I'd rather have Chubb and Hunt than Chubb and, Rashad Penny or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not dumping on Rashad Penny. I'm saying as a strategy, that was just running back's tough, man. It's tough in them streets. It's tough in them running back streets.
Quarterback, running back streets.
And to your point, I am a lot more comfortable doing that, especially like when I have two running backs. So like in this situation, like he has Saquon Barkley and DeAndre Swift, Damian Harris, and pairing him with Ramondre Stevenson, like maybe one of them is just a guy, maybe an injury happens to one of them, and you got a locked and loaded starter every week at the running back position.
Absolutely. And this year, at least in the draft, that's kind of only really the one viable pairing that you can use after you've picked two other running backs already. Because like if you get Chubb, you're kind of stuck with the second pick. You're not stuck, but you got to force to target Pollard higher. Same thing, like I said before, with Hunt. But if you get two great running backs and you're looking for a third, once you get to that Harris, Edwards area, you kind of, at least this solidifies your third running back, even though it takes two picks.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I was thinking. So,
I feel like we saw rumors recently as well about Damian Harris stating that he was on the block. He was available for trade. Did you guys see those rumors coming out that New England is shopping him potentially?
So the thing is, it was more like, I think, writer hype, like beat writer hype.
It was an insider or some New England Patriots writer who said they think that. Yeah,
it just
that's why I said rumors.
To do it right. So and if that happens, Ramondre Stevenson's getting drafted probably closer to AJ Dillon, maybe even higher. Yeah,
if Damian Harris is out of the way in that offense, you're 100% right.
Yeah, I think Harris is a phenomenal pick. Phenomenal.
Something we also didn't mention, James White just retired, the pass catching back for the Patriots forever now. It feels like, and Ramondre Stevenson is apparently doing very well in that role. Maybe it's why he retired. Maybe he was like, "Oh wow, this guy's too okay. He's gonna get my job anyway. Let me go out on like top sort of here, right?"
And Harris was good last year. I mean, he had some damn good games. Last year,
15 touchdowns.
Yeah. 15 touchdowns. He had a couple of 100-yard rushing games, a couple multi-touchdown games. He got banged up and then he came back. and Stevenson did well in his absence, and so they just kind of kept them both. But that whole situation is kind of fluky because Stevenson was a rookie in New England. They might as well be sitting on the bench, especially running back. But he took advantage of the opportunity. So, but that doesn't make anything less for Harris. That doesn't mean Harris is any of a lesser running back. I think he's a great pick.
I was just
Dustin in here saying, "You stupid cat! I wanted Davis Mills."
Stupid cat.
Yeah, that was good.
And then
and look, also being the 4 quarterback guy. Yeah, we were talking
4 quarterback guy. Twin said, so what's the deal with the Buffalo running backs? What do you guys think is going to happen there?
We haven't really talked much about it.
I remember we did, and we had some pretty firm stance. Not firm, I would say, but yeah, we haven't talked about it in a bit. Were you coming to me, Simon, with it?
Yeah, I was going to come to you, but anyone can jump in here.
Yeah, so James Cook, I'm just going to say it. I think he has a little bit more upside, and I think Devin Singletary is going to go into the season as the starting running back for the Buffalo Bills. I think they'll get James Cook involved. He'll probably be out there in a lot of third downs. He'll probably play wide receiver a little bit out of the slot position, but I do think Devin Singletary is going to go into the year as the starting running back. At the end of the year, I think it's extremely likely he has the most carries, but if James Cook is the real deal, he shows up. Yeah, I could also see a world at middle of the season. He is the guy himself because he's more athletic and a better, just big play guy. And the Bills might want that.
I completely agree with that analysis, Josh. I was going to say almost the same exact thing, which is that I think Devin Singletary is going to start. It's all going to depend on how James Cook does in that beginning of the season. Yeah. When he does get the opportunities, that's going to completely shift what's going to happen. So well said, Josh.
Yeah.
And how about Melvin Gordon ahead of both of them?
Hey, no, James Cook went in the 10th there, but
Pacheco,
Devin Singletary. But you said you would draft?
I would draft Melvin Gordon ahead of both of those guys.
Gotcha.
Okay, my next pick is going to be. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a quarterback. And the reason why I'm picking him is because I think this guy's going to have a nice bounce back.
Did we just hear a pun?
Don't do it, Thad. Thad, don't do it. There's a quarterback I was going to grab in the next round. If you take him,
I'm doing it.
Don't be the guy.
He's doing it.
Wait.
Baker Mayfield.
Was that it? Oh, yes, that is exactly who I was going to take in the next round. To pair with Jared Goff, play matchups. You son of a gun, Thad. There was one guy I was just waiting for. You.
I almost thought Kibosh was going to do it because of the Panthers logo. See, I'm telling you, you got to read everything about people, man. I'm telling you. It's important. But Baker Mayfield, for multiple reasons, has something to prove. He doesn't really have that, Aaron Rodgers capability to wish it upon himself like Aaron Rodgers does. But not
many do, right?
Yeah, who does? Michael Jordan and Tom Brady and LeBron James. But he has something to prove. He's in a spot where, let's face it, they can say that he's splitting reps with Sam Darnold in practice. That's bullshit. We saw what happened.
He's going to be the starter.
He's the starter. And also a healthy, for however long it's going to be, a healthy CMC can make even an average quarterback look like Fran Tarkenton. And for those of you who don't know who that is, number one, shame on you. Number two, look it up. Okay.
I've looked at some all-time lists that I've seen him up there.
Yeah.
I at least know the name.
Yeah, exactly. See, so I think he's gonna have a great bounce back season. So that's why I picked him. And if you're going to pick him, which you can get him late, I'm trying to scroll here to see without giving it away here.
See, Jay, you're saying Thad told you he was going to snipe you guys.
Wait for John Luke to.
Don't want to give it to you. You got your pick readied up. You got your pick readied up.
Yeah, I want to give it to JL.
I hate this spot.
Ugh. You just feel like you need to load up on wide receivers, though, right?
I have to, and they're ugly. They're very ugly at this point.
Robbie
Anderson.
Hey, the guy is crazy, crazy talented.
Crazy targeted last year.
Crazy targeted. Sam Darnold. With if I'm expecting Mayfield to have a great season, then Anderson is going to fall right behind there, in my opinion. So I'm pairing these guys up. If they both go off, then you look like a genius. if they crap the bed, nobody's going to know. So, I think it's pairing up quarterbacks with potential upside along with wide receivers that had down years because of the quarterback situation prior. This is a good idea.
With you.
I agree. What's up, Tim? Welcome in. Glad to have you.
Tim.
And Dad, I'm with you. And especially this late, what's the risk for you in drafting a Baker Mayfield? And we've seen him be an above average quarterback. He's going to have some good weapons down there. And like you said, CMC, man, give me the quarterback throwing the ball to CMC.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Absolutely.
Also, Baker has one of the best deep arms in the NFL, and it's under when he's healthy. And it's underrated, actually. I think he has the longest pass ever recorded in an NFL game. I might be slightly off on that.
Really?
I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah.
1,000 yards.
1,000 yards.
1,000-yard pass. Yes.
1,000-yard pass.
Also, Twin, suck it. Payback.
I thought about
baby.
going Sky Moore. I went MVS instead.
And
what makes you go MVS over Sky Moore?
Be established. I think Sky Moore is riding a little bit on hype.
Yeah. I at this point in the draft, I think I do take Sky Moore over MVS.
Yes, more established than Sky Moore.
Established in the offense, I would say. He's going to be the starter week 1.
Yeah.
So just hasn't done it before.
Yes.
Yeah.
See flashes, but yeah, you're right. Not sustained.
No, I wouldn't be drafting Sky Moore if it wasn't in double-digit rounds down here. But I think he's the kind of player who could get going as the season progresses, right? Like maybe a slow start and we see a breakout as he acclimates to that offense.
KC's going to screw us all. I feel like they're just like I feel like a fantasy enigma this year.
It's going to be none of the running backs. It's going to be none of the wide receivers. It's just going to be all
different than what we think. Yeah.
It's going to be Travis Kelce and then scraps.
Simon, I'm getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher on Juju, though.
Me too. Every day, I feel like I move him up a spot or two. Because I feel like I was trying to be too cute with figuring out that KC offense earlier. And now we didn't even, I feel like, really talk about it. And just individually, we were all like, yep. And now we're in on Juju. like it just kind of happened.
I've been in on Juju as a talent. Yeah. I mean, like I always believe that he is a talented wide receiver. And I felt like people were really discounting him too far. While in Pittsburgh, of course, it depended on where he landed, but he landed in a great spot.
Well, this argument I made while at the Expo, and I didn't even it just happened naturally, and now I love it. But like someone was like, well, Marcus Valdez-Scantling played with Devontae Adams. That's why he never broke out. And then we were talking about Juju. He's like, well, Juju was only really good when he was playing with Antonio Brown. So it's like, wait, so when Marcus Valdez-Scantling playing with an awesome receiver, that's his excuse.
Yeah.
But when Juju's playing with an awesome receiver,
he does the same argument.
Yeah, I get it to a degree. They're different receivers, but
there's a Travis Kelce there.
Yeah,
it's not like he's going in there and he's the only main receiving target. Yeah. Like there is another
1,000 of them.
There's 1,000 of them. Guys, that is going to wrap up our mock draft today. Thad, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on and hanging with us and drafting. Really appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, man. Always have fun with you guys. Good to see you again. Hopefully, you'll have me back again at some point during the regular season.
Absolutely.
You're always welcome on the show, Thad.
Yeah, I think
that's a promise, Thad. And guys, if you're not already following our friend Thad over on Twitter, go and follow him right now at rad_Thad1. It's easy to remember because he is rad, and there's his name, Thad.
And he's also Thad.
So make sure you guys go over there and follow him. After you do that, we're here every single day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Never miss a day. Definitely not Mondays after the Expo. We wouldn't do that. But we'll be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time, playing some more fantasy football game show fun. And our friend Dustin from the chat's coming on to hang out with us.
I saw he made a comment earlier. That's okay. That's awesome.
He is coming on to try to take home a Jeopardy title tomorrow, and I'm being
get ready to get wrecked, Dustin. Oh, get ready to have your whole world brought down.
I think Jail and Josh get ready to get wrecked based on how Dustin's done in the chat. We'll see. We'll see how the.
I'm bringing my A game tomorrow, Dustin. I am bringing my A game.
Wait a minute. Didn't you say you were going to use one of Dustin's categories?
Not his questions, but his category.
Okay.
Way to ruin the surprise, Jay.
Now that I just thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. There's some fishiness going on.
Guys, that's going to be it for us today. We are out of here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thad, thank you so much for coming on and hanging with us this afternoon. We will see everybody tomorrow. Until then, adios.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Fantasy fun.
Mr. Scampers.